Questions, raise your hand. The microphone will come your way.
Mark, when you look at the film, what were you pleased with last night? What was disappointing about last night's game?
Pleased with just how hard we played. You know, we played hard in every phase, and you know that doing a lot of good things that way, and that's a huge deal. Of just you know, first and foremost, we want to be a team that plays hard, plays physically, and finishes. You know, and then after that, there's again a million little details that whether it's just awareness of the situation, you know, red zone, down and distance, when do I press, where's my leverage, all those things pop up in a game like this. Whether it's the first drive, the first touchdown, the two clutch drives to end both halves. Those are things that we need to close out and finish better as coaches first and as players second. And then again, just a million things come up, and it's those one or two plays in this game that if you finish, the game's over. There's one or two plays, you know, going back to the Michigan State game, and everybody's singing a different tune.
Rick, kind of following up on that with one or two plays here or there. The expectations coming into the season were pretty high, flying. How do you manage the psyche, the mindset of the team and the coach when you've had, you know, pretty disappointing result last night?
We talk about it, you know, and again, I think if everybody is on board to continue to do the things that we've done well and improve the things that we haven't done well, win, lose, or draw, that's the goal. And, you know, at some point when you're, you know, again, obviously there's some tweaks here and there from a schematic standpoint, a personnel standpoint, a philosophy standpoint, just in terms of kind of how you tweak things from normally. You know, you continue to work and you continue to count on the character of our team, the character of our coaches, the development that is taking place, and again, that turns into experience, and you know, at some point you're off and running.
Reggie Daniels was a pretty key piece for your defense last season, and he's missed a couple of games. Is it performance-based, or is he dealing with some kind of a health issue that's preventing him to play?
He wasn't available this week.
Kristen, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Mark, what's going to be different about this loss? You guys already have 2 losses this season. You say that you come out to practice, you practice better, and that you guys are hungrier. But how can you make sure that, you know, that won't happen again? What's going to be different about this loss?
Well, again, you can all you can do is commit to improvement and commit to each other. I think our guys again started to do that in the locker room last night. Talking to the guys today, talking to some of the you know, all the people in our program. Again, you're not happy about anything, but the response is productive, and you know, again, there's going to be obviously some tweaks and changes from a week-to-week standpoint, and continue to improve. We have improved and played better in a lot of areas, but not enough to get it done.
Brian?
Mark, I think the last 4 or 5 teams that lost a Heisman Trophy winner, their record was 8-5 or something along those lines. Did you expect this to be a little bit of a transition year, or did you think, you know, with a healthy Vernon Adams, maybe you could just pick up where you left off last year?
I'm never ever gonna think of anything other than, you know, just what we control and what we can control and what's next, and whether that's the next person in a position or whatever, we expect whoever's in there to be great, to play great, to prepare great. You know, at no point ever do we sit here and go, we don't have A, B, or C, so it's okay to, you know, that just doesn't happen.
Mark, the run game was exceptional. Blocking looked good last night on the offensive line. Moving forward, obviously you need to throw the ball efficiently. How do you go into this next week and for the rest of the season? Are there ways to improve the passing game with what you have?
Definitely.
How do you go about doing that?
Yeah. Just, you know, in some cases, and this is all coaching based in some plays there was something there to be had. A couple times we had some route depth issues that are easily correctable. Obviously, made a couple plays, had a turnover, and so all those little details that are highlighted and talked about all the time. They come ablaze in a game like this to an inexperienced guy, whether it's footwork, just the eye progression, all those things you have to trust and make happen in the game, just like you have in training.
Through the magic of modern technology, Andrew, do you have a question?
Sure, Mark. When you look at this defense and how they played pretty well, except for those two end drive halves, do you have any kind of explanation when you go back and watch the film for what was different at the end of each half that really hadn't happened up to that point when the defense was playing pretty well?
Okay, I interpreted that as a couple drives.
You talking about the scoring drives at the end of each half? What?
Yes, the scoring drives to end each half.
Yeah.
What do you see different?
Yeah, going back again and couple times execution, a couple times that we could have put them in better situations. A couple times we had some communication, and I'm talking when I say a couple times, couple plays. A couple times they make a great throw and catch. We create pressure and try to put them in a hole, and I call the timeout to keep that as an option to get the ball back. Clock would have run out on that, and so that's all. You bunch all that up together and you work on each facet of those things individually.
Back to Rick.
The losses, it's a high-pressure business, I understand, and the losses are difficult to deal with. And then you see something that goes on like at Los Angeles today with Sarkisian and Randy Edsall being fired. How do you manage the pressures of this position, and how do you deal with these kinds of setbacks?
Work. And get around a bunch of guys that I totally believe in and trust. That's coaches, that's players, that's everybody in our program. And you work to fine tune it, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, morale, all the things that go into this. You work, and the the business is the business, as you alluded to, and that is completely out of our control from that standpoint. But how we react to yesterday, how we react and come to work tomorrow, that matters a ton.
Joey in the back.
After watching the film of Charles on defense, what was your assessment of him back there?
He did some really good things and did some things that he'll improve. I think he needs to, it ran around great. Obviously, he had a couple big time hits that got it going. Needs to wrap up a couple other times, and he plays so fast that a guy like that is gonna miss some tackles just by virtue of how hard he plays, and then just confidence, of the position and communication, and immediately knowing what to do, whether it's based on, some defenses are based on the personnel or the hash mark or the strength of the formation, all those things just becoming second nature.
Brian?
To the untrained eye, it just appeared that Vernon had a lot more velocity in warm-ups. Has he made significant progress since the Utah game?
Since the Utah game, I think so. I think that's the magic word is significant in quotation marks or italics or what going forward. And I don't know the answer to that.
Matt?
With Taj's performance the last 2 weeks, do you think you've kind of found the complement with Royce and now Taj, and how do they complement each other? Very big time change of pace. Although I think Royce can run fast, a little bit faster than people give him credit for, and I think Taj can be a very physical guy when the time is right, and so I think they complement one another very well. And then I think, like we talked about last week, just learning everything, positionally, protections, route running, aiming points, all those things that he'll continue to improve.
Kristen, do you have anything else?
Yes, Mark, it feels like the changes you guys make after a loss are more short term and they work for that week. But what's it going to take for you guys to be able to sustain a winning streak and get 2 wins in a row?
One win. And I don't understand. I don't understand your question on the first part of the short term.
Oh, sorry. I just, it's been that pattern of win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And it feels like the changes that you're able to make work for that week. And then it's, a mentality or something drops off to where you guys kind of take a bit of a step back. So I'm asking, what's it going to take to kind of be able to keep that mentality for the rest of the season?
Yeah, and that's where I guess just one at a time. And every time something happens great or something happens that's not great, that's something you need to put in your memory bank and learn from, and that's experience. And we're building a lot of things that we want to sustain, certainly, and then we're building a few bullet points that we need to improve upon. But I think anytime we make a correction or an improvement or an adjustment, that those should last forever.
Andrew Greif, you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Matt?
You kind of brought up experience in the secondary. I don't think with Cisse and now Reggie being unavailable, I don't think you have anyone in the program that's been on defense for 3 years or longer. How much does that impact the way guys just react or know what they're supposed to do during games? Is that a big factor at all?
Well, it's certainly a factor, and that's one of those things. Great teams have talent, experience, and depth, and you can't manufacture any of those things. It's nobody wants to hear about time, and those are excuses, and that's totally understandable. And that's where we have to coach. We have to put them in great position, and then they have to build confidence by what happens. And if it's something not good, you learn from it and flush it. If it's something good, you keep it with you. And then that's where, again, you just can't manufacture all these, 3rd and 9 and giving up a 38-yard pass, the red zone, just all these things that you hammer home constantly until it happens in a game. I don't want to say it's meaningless, but getting those guys to trust those things is it's a process.
Winding things down, Warren?
Mark, I talked to Coach Neal after the Utah game, and he said one of the great things about you in practice is that you come to work with such a positive attitude and upbeat, and you get the players, you show that to your players, that you go to the defensive side and you're all around. This week in practice, how are you going to, I guess, create that positive momentum after a loss heading into Washington, which is going to be a tough opponent?
Yeah, again, the only thing that we can concentrate on are the solutions. It's very easy to sit here and point at what's wrong and point directly at me 100%. But we have to be in the solution business, and that's when we deal with our team or our, individual guys, however it is what can we do now? What's next? Because the negativity will take care of itself, and as far as execution and all there's a million things that we're absolutely not pleased with, but now what? Again, our character of our team, how they've worked, all those things, I'm absolutely 100% confident they're going to come out and prepare great.
Last call. Any more questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.